interested in addressing the council, press *9 on your phone to raise your hand. You will have 2 minutes to speak. When it is your time to speak, you will hear an announcement that you have been unmuted. We request that you clearly and slowly state your name before making your comments so that we can accurately capture the meeting minutes. However, it is not required to state your name. Please remember, this is a time for council to hear from the public. We are not able to engage in dialogue with each member of the public, but when we are able, we will address the questions raised after oral communications has been completed. We'll go ahead and look to our meeting attendees for folks who would like to speak to us. And I see Garrett's hand is up. Go ahead, Garrett.
Okay, one more. Okay, following up on all those systemic racial discrimination leftist AMBAG housing mandates, I would mention all regional authorities, including HUD, are among the worst structures in government, as they are unelected bureaucrats granted regulatory authority by lazy elected politicians and are beyond the reach of the people. In this case, AMBAG did a big bend over to the radical YIMBY activists, who additionally overfill some communities based on their being too white with poverty-enabling public or other housing, is treating a singular group of people differently based on their race, and is therefore a racial discrimination, period, full stop. None of you even blinked. No rational or moral justification exists to zone one additional unit into communities citing simply their too white a race demographic. Tell them to cram that idea up real tight. Another standalone method of overfilling communities if they are too affluent is a mandate of action to destroy successful communities and remake them identically in a lowest common denominator cookie-cutter fashion that is central to the growing totalitarian, defective Marxist equity dogma infecting our politics. These are not opportunity zones or resource-rich zones. They are collections of people who produce affluence because they are successful capitalists, Marxists, socialists, who understand prosperity comes from capitalism with a moral and ideological foundation of the value of individual goals, self-responsibility, knowledge, skill building, discipline, hard work, spirituality, and family, not a belief in state dependency, victimhood, worship. Real prosperity is not contagious, nor an entitlement, nor a right. It is earned. AMBAG is not about liberty and cannot produce prosperity.
Thank you. Next is Nora Hoffman. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So about 4.5 minutes ago, I watched the City Council, under the leadership of you, Donna Myers, cast a vote on the whole package of youth and youth in all policies. And when you cast that vote, the clerk of the City Council was already showing on the screen to all of us that it was a unanimous vote that had somehow magically taken place before you actually voted. Could somebody explain that to me? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. Any other members of our public want to speak to us tonight on items not on the agenda? This is oral communications. Go ahead, Abby Samuels, please.
I want to understand how you can, on a Friday night, around 9:30 p.m., kick someone out of their RV with a 12-year-old child, with a grandmother who's ill, onto the streets a day before it's raining. Now they're in their tents with all of their belongings all strewn all over the place, in the rain, drenched, including their 12-year-old kid. How do you sleep at night? I want to know yesterday how at 9 p.m. I spent all day yesterday at the Benchlands. I want to understand how you can have the cops tell people that after they spent all day moving up to the upper park of the San Lorenzo Park, where they're out of the flood zone, that the police came at 9 p.m. at night and kicked all of those people out of the park and did not bother to go down below where it was flooding. Instead, all they were this morning at 9 a.m. after around 25 people had already moved their tents up, and this morning at 8 in the morning I was there. The cops were there with the 4 remaining tents, kicking those people out, letting the people down below flood.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, I have Rafa Sonnenfeld.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to respond to a comment I heard earlier during oral communication about the so-called radical agenda of affirmatively furthering fair housing. This was in regards to comments, I presume, about the Association of Monterey Bay Area Governments discussion around the RENA methodology. And basically, the state of California requires cities and councils of government like AMBAG to consider affirmatively to implement policies that affirmatively further fair housing, to break the historical inequities and imbalances that have happened over the years when it comes to lending policies and segregation, whether it's through exclusionary zoning or racial covenants or redlining. So the fact that we're just now in 2021 working towards reversing some of these historic inequities is, well, it's troubling that it's taken this long, but it's good that we're finally here and we're finally making progress towards having a more just, equitable society, and that starts with land use policy. And so I hope that in the coming years that as Santa Cruz is considering where it's placing its housing as part of its housing element, which will happen, it's due by, I think, January 2023. We'll have a really robust community process around this, and I hope that we really think first and foremost about our responsibility to reverse that historic inequity and to affirmatively further fair housing. Thank you very much.
Next, I have Sabina. 3 minutes.
Hello. I would like to second Abby Samuel's comment. What happened at the Benchlands and other encampments over the past 2 days is criminal. Where was the city? We hear over and over again from council members like Kalantari Johnson and Watkins that we can't just do nothing. You're always saying, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. We can't do nothing. Guess what? You did literally nothing. Literally nothing at all. Have you seen the photos? Have you gone down to the Benchlands? Have you done any of that? It's really shameful. You need to stop taking the only available shelter away from children and the vulnerable for them to just go be in tents in floodwaters. So next time that you're standing up for the children like you so valiantly did, please think about those children that don't have homes. Think about the foster youth that are way overrepresented in the homeless population in our county. You did absolutely nothing. And so next time I hear you guys say, well, we can't do nothing, I mean, please vote these people out. They're doing a terrible job.
Thank you. That'll conclude our oral communications